Read it, President. I'll just have him read it.
I said, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Yeah?
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself. Who are thee?
The children of Israel.
Everyone, children of Israel.
Yes.
Above all people that upon
so that don't sound
above
like
all people
equality.
that are upon the face of earth.
So that
so
don't
this is
sound like
no.
equality.
This is Deuteronomy, right?
Yeah.
And this is so. Let me just also find mine, because the Bible sometimes say this and you see the same thing.
Brother, I have to give you the understanding of the scripture. And when you find yours, you give us the understanding of yours.
Yes. So with
because what you're saying for us is the Most High gave us equality of nation.
Yes. And you are
the first thing. We cannot be equal when we have pigment. The white man don't have pigment. The Chinese don't have pigment. So it cannot be equality. Because one gets energy from the sun, one don't.
Right.
Okay. You see where I'm coming from?
Oh yeah.
The white man, just like we was talking this man, Farrakhan said, the white man said, we black must leave America and go to Africa. Farrakhan said, if you leave America, where are you going to be?
Exactly.
Is that sound like equality to you, my brother? You are proclaiming the white man come from Europe with no natural resources. Africa, where black people come from, have our resources. Is that sound equality to you? And even the white man kingdom is black equality to you. So my brother, we way far superior than our nation of people on this earth. That's why we overcome slavery.
That's right.
And the blacks, believe it or not, the blacks, they listen to you talk and you're very cautious. They say the people here and spirituality and all that. The blacks that came here to Baltimore in slave ship, believe it or not, they are the children of Israel.
That's right.
And the Bible said, after 400 years, he was going to rise up again.
Right.
Just like our ancestors was in Egypt. Black Israelite in Egypt ruling by black Egyptian.
So you're quoting the Bible, right?
Definitely. The Bible is our life. Right. The Bible was what redeemed us from slavery.
Okay.
When you mentioned earlier that Christianity and this and that, but when you read the Bible, our slaves, our ancestors in 15th century started to sing the song, if I have the wing of a dove, I'll fly.
So,
they get that from Psalms.
So with the Bible, I will not be able to talk to you more about God. I don't read the Bible. So you just speak and I just listen.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a breakdown in communication. But as I said, you have your own concept here, and we come here learning, but have a concept too.
So I'm just learning yours now.
So now, our ancestors, they were overthrown. You see up there? Come let me show you something. Get me Joel 3. And the Bible was written many years before slavery.
Have you found Joel 2?
Get me Joel 3 when you get it, Tazara. Yeah, Joel 3 verse 1.
Joel chapter 3 verse 1.
Chapter 2.
Joel chapter 3 verse 2. And it reads, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my people and my heritage Israel.
Because the Most High is saying, go and judge all people for the children of Israel. You know why? Because all nations get rich off slavery. Yep. And the black man was sold from Africa. What richness Africa get from it? So no. Sure.
When you read your scriptures, no, don't video me. I'm not part of that. Yes, when you read the scriptures, God said, I created man in my own image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if God created man in his own image, what does that mean?
Yeah, he created
because all men
in his
are
own
like that.
He never said
no, he don't say that. Listen, God didn't say the children of Israel. God said, I created man in my own image.
Jeremiah, make him talk to me.
Okay. So if God created man in his own image, then what shows that man are not equal to God? And what shows that men are not equal?
The white man proved to you that we're not equal.
He said the white, you quoted to me in the Bible.
And I agree with him. And I agree with him.
Okay.
And I agree with him. But you see, when I read the Bible, my brother, just like even when the Bible tells about Christ, when the Bible tells about Jesus Christ, he gives you a what? Genealogy of Christ. He gives you a righteous lineage go through men. Christ's lineage goes straight back to Adam. Adam and Eve was not the first two people created on earth. So you see, so it's even irrelevant to have a conversation when you don't accept the Bible or believe the Bible. Because Adam and Eve...
You said
the first creation was not Adam and Eve?
No.
Okay. And now you're talking about the Bible.
Yeah.
And in the Bible, do we have the first creation in the Bible? Being not Adam and Eve?
Yeah.
Which quotation is that?
It's in Ezekiel.
Ezekiel.
Yeah.
And what was that?
Are you going to believe it if I give it to you?
No, it's not about, what you told me is that is why you told me we are just having a conversation.
It's in Ezekiel, the 31st
Yes.
chapter.
And who was that first?
Just read it, you'll see.
Ezekiel
38, 31st chapter.
Yes.
Pull it up.
No, you're not going to read it. Make you read it.
I'm trying
All
to.
right, because you just say you're not part of this, but it's in Ezekiel.
No, the
31st
reason
chapter.
being I'm not part of this is the
understand?
video that I'm in.
All right, no problem.
So I'm saying, but we are having a conversation.
But no
just
problem.
the video that I
Read
want
on
to
to that what he said, because there's something important here about the black woman, the Israelite woman. You understand me? Because we have to remember what Jeremiah 17 verse 4 said. Who was going to discontinue from our heritage.
Yeah.
You understand me? And when the white man came to Jerusalem in 70 AD, Jerusalem is Northeast Africa.
All right.
Jerusalem, there's no country on the planet Earth named Asia Minor. Okay, you don't have South Minor, you don't have North Minor, you
Right.
don't have West Minor, so you don't have an Asia Minor. So Jerusalem is Northeast Africa. That's where our ancestors traveled from.
Right.
And with the Babylon to Timbuktu, we have so much history in it. But as we said, we're not going to fight your opinion or your spiritual aspect, because earlier you make a mention, say you don't have to fight physically but mentally. But when my ancestors went to Jamaica, we have to burn every plantation.
Yep.
So we have to do it physical. When Haiti get the independence in the 1800s, Christmas Eve night, Haiti killed over 25,000 French military men. So the Haitian did have to fight physically. You understand me? So we as a people, we're going to have to get up and fight for what's ours. We come back to Africa today, look at us. Who desires us in Africa? The white man still have more rights than our black people here. The Chinese still have more rights than our black people here. The so-called dirty Arabs prostituting the black woman on the street here.
In our homeland.
You know, in a so-called homeland. So no, my brother, please, we will not stand for that. We come with a different spirit, and we come with the spirit of the God of Israel. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, whose name is Yahweh. And just like our father sent Moses to deliver us from the hands of the Egyptian, our father will send his only begotten son, who the world ignorant called Jesus Christ, which is Yahwahshi, to deliver us from this captivity. Read what you have to that.
Whom they have scattered among the nations.
So the Bible said, this is the beginning of it, when they come wash black woman and black man, especially the black man, and they scatter them amongst the nation. So that's why you have in the Americas, a lot of people don't know, it's almost 80 countries in the Americas. North America, South America, the Caribbean, Central America, and even country that's not in the Caribbean. Read on.
And parted my land.
And they divide up Jerusalem. Because who in Jerusalem now? The Palestine and the white man. Read on.
And they have cast lots for my people.
I know they cast lots for my people. What they said, a strong nigga boy here, do I hear $10, do I hear $50? Sold $60. See, they cast lots for my people. And you see it, the first auction block, because they have to wash the slave and get them clean before they can sell them. So they cast lots for the black man and for the people. Read on.
And have given a boy for an harlot.
Giving a boy for an harlot, that's where the term motherfucker come from. They have the strong slave boy have sex with his mother, his sister, anybody to make strong slaves. Read on.
And sold a girl for wine.
And sold what?
And sold a girl for wine.
So who is under the black woman here? 2 buckle of wine, right? The Bible never lies, brothers and sisters.
I think he missed that.
The Bible, he can miss it. It's not for him.
Yeah, it's not for him.
So you see that 2 buckle of wine for the black woman. That's what we sell for in America. That's what we sell for in Jamaica. That's what we sold for in Haiti. So we have to have that fighting spirit. You understand me? You make mention earlier that people voted for Nana. I was here in the election. I live here. There's no country in the world that can have election and current gone all night. And the result, wake up in the morning and result give. It could not happen in Jamaica. It could not happen in America. It could not happen in Haiti. Name one country in the world. We travel to many countries because of that. Could it happen in Israel? Could it happen in Palestine? Where election is today, and by the evening done, electric goes all night. Tomorrow morning you wake up and somebody declare winner. So that's why we have to get up and we have to fight for what's ours. Our black children, our black woman will not go in slavery again. Our children will never be sold again. Because after we come back here to Africa, after 400 years, there is nothing set up in Africa for it not to happen again. If they take a child now and bring him into slavery, there's nothing, nobody can stop it. Because the police sold out, they took money from everybody they see on the street. The politicians stole out, everything is corrupt. So if a man go give a police the money and say, I'm taking his children, what you think will happen? You can't get them back. So that's why it's necessary for we to come back here with the training that we have and the nations that we build and the nation that we take down for the so-called white man. You understand me? Who was there to take Iraq for him? Who was there to take Afghan for him? When he went to all these countries, when he went to Libya to kill Gaddafi, who was there with him? So we come back with that same mentality because it's worth it. And the God of Israel will be fighting for us. This, we will never forget it, and we will never forgive. Right. And as I said, all our fighting over there in the West, not one African leader stand up for us. Not one. And that's why some of us is still angry. Not one. I see Nelson Mandela went to prison, 27 years. Not one African leader stand up for him. Not one. Only 2 leaders in the entire nation stand up for him. Fidel Castro in Cuba sent 10,000 soldiers to South Africa and Jamaica. Not one more country. So we understand when we come here, our fellow African brothers are going to see us. That's why we learn. We understand. They will never be with us. But history proves itself. And as the song said, my father said, we shall overcome. So let's look on this sign. We never visit this one. See what's on this one. So this is the last bath. So like they come here to take the last bath before they enter the slave ship. Right? So you see, these are our fathers. And this is our oppressor until this day. You understand me? The white man oppressed the blacks for almost 500 years. So take notes where we can teach our children. And our children can teach their children. And we can know what the truth is. And as I said, it's just difference in opinion. We're not trying to change nobody's opinion. But as a nation of people, we have to use what worked for us. When Martin Luther King had the Million Man March, when Farrakhan had the first million, Marcus Garvey had the first Million Man March, it was only us there beside him. When the Queen of England put him in prison in 1940 and behead him 1945 and ship his body to Jamaica, not one African leader came up and rebelled against it. So brothers and sisters, we know our history. And just like he said, we see the river there and it's light, it's true. We've been to Jerusalem, can? We all get baptized in the River Jordan, can? And there's no river on this planet Earth more holy than the River Jordan.
That's right.
There's no more place on this earth where you have more spiritual aspect than the River Jordan.
That's right.
We went to Masada. We went to all these holy places. Did we went to the Red Sea? We went to the Red Sea. There's no other sea on this planet more worthy and none of those historical parts in our land in Jerusalem. All this what we go through is trials and tribulation. And by the hands of the God of Israel, we will overcome. And as the scripture said yesterday, we read, our captivity is accomplished. It's finished. It's finished, brothers and sisters. From 1619 to 2019, fulfilled 400 years of prophecy. That's why 2019, Nana could said, is the year of return. Let the black man come home. But the truth about it is, there was nothing set up or established here for us to come home to. Nothing. So we have to fight as we go along. And know our resting place is in Jerusalem, Mount Zion.
That's right.
That's right.
So the journey ain't stopped, my brother. Right? So we say, Kwam Yasharahla.
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 Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Whether they hear or forbear, for they are most rebellious.
What this thing have in his hand? A goat? Yeah, shalom, shalom. We want to give all praises and honor to the Most High Yahweh. You know the landlord making noise. So where we at? We're at the place where they said the slaves to the last bath. So you can point up there. We're going to go down to the river earlier. Right? And this is an actual chain and a ball that they used to put on our people, man. And this was on a little boy. You understand me? 13-year-old boy. You understand me? So you see, they have records left of what the so-called white man does to the so-called children of God, man. And that's why we traveling back to burn down all vain imagination what the white man put up about black people, man.
That's right.
You understand me? We go and break that curse. So as we go on this tour today, we'll show you different pictures what they have in this place. But first, Tesla, come on. Yeah, so they're keeping emancipation celebration. Where they have a celebration here with the Pan Fest, but the emancipation is the same day as Jamaica, kept there. So as we would say, any so-called freedom is freedom. But for me, myself, I would go beyond when Haiti actually took their freedom in the 1800s. Right? So I just want to show my brothers and sisters certain of the things on the wall. So let's check out some of the pictures. So they have some masterpiece on the wall. Listen, come on, go tell them to turn that shit off. Right? So this is George Ferguson. And George Ferguson was a so-called scientist. You understand me? He helped build an aeroplane, engine for aeroplane.
You ain't gonna turn it off.
Right? So this is George Ferguson. You understand me? He helped build aeroplane. And he was in America in 1873. So he was in there in 1873. He was a known scientist. And even though they keep the history where he have the part in his head, because every style come from us. So you see, people was doing hairstyle like this from in the 1800s. So y'all can Google George Ferguson. And then you have the revolutionary himself. You understand me? Mr. Malcolm X. Right? What he stand for was the liberation of so-called black people, man. You understand me? And he advised us who our enemy is. And all this, they have this place where they said the slave took the last bath, so it'd be a historical site, historical spot. So we have Malcolm X, right? And all of these people fighting their own cause, right? You have Queen Nanny. In Jamaica, we know her as Nanny the Maroon, right? She was a freedom fighter and a black woman that never stopped to go in slavery under the British rulership. You understand me? So this is Queen Nanny. She came in Jamaica in 1800. They said she died at 98 years old, right? So this is Queen Nanny, revolutionary. She came to Jamaica as a free woman because they took her, his nephew, Kojo, and bring in slavery. So when she came there, she came to free her cousin. So she came as a free woman. But when she came as a free woman, the British revoked that freedom letter that she had and tried to put her in slavery. Via Jamaica, she stopped in Haiti first. So she was checking different plantations looking for her nephew. So when she reached Jamaica, she get all up there and she trained the people to fight. She killed thousands of white people, man. The British fear and hate this woman, man. Right? So that's Queen Nanny. So we have more in the wall. And listen, I don't know everybody here. You have George Padmore. I don't know if any of you American know about him.
No.
But he's American. He was a lawyer too. You understand me? So I don't know much about him, but he was helping black people at the time, free of cost. Right? And we know Booker T. Washington. He was one of them that was around Marcus Garvey at the time. He was against Marcus Garvey. So he was fighting more liberal. You understand me? He wasn't for the Revolutionary Act. But they have him here for some reason. But he's part in our history too. Right? And you have no other than Queen Moses, right? Harriet. You understand me? She knows she was a Hebrew Israelite too, man. And she freed a lot of black people, man. And our black sisters don't have to take a leaf from her book, man. Because she said she could free many more people, only if they know that they were a slave. You understand me? So just imagine then and now. So this is Queen Harriet, man, right? And she was around from in the 90s. She died when? She died what? Almost 79 or 80 years old. So she lived up to see in the 1900s. So she came in the late 1800s. So even in 1900, you know the black man was still in slavery, man. And this black woman freed a lot of so-called black people, man. So it's a honor for them to, in Africa, to remember her, man. Because a lot of black people, black women in America know nothing of her. Right? And this is Dr. Nkrumah. And I know a lot of people might disagree with what I said, but on my research of him, even before I came to Ghana, he went to Lincoln University in England, right? He came back. He went to Lincoln University in the 1920s, 1930s. He came back and he get independence in 1957 in Ghana. But just by him go by Lincoln University, you know he was sold out to the bootleg. So they sent him back here to rule. So by him even ruling, when he come back, he tried to implicate his own thing and then get rid of him. You understand me? So y'all can read up more about him, but I know he write a book. And there's not much people have a copy of that book. So I'd love to get a copy of that book one day. So if anybody watching have that book, just send me a couple pages. But this is Kwame Nkrumah. I don't know what this is. Anybody know what this is? This look like a tear. Look like, I never said was. Right? And this is Anna Julia. I'm going to research and see who this is. Right? And this is Sojourner Truth. Anybody know who she is?
No.
I don't know who she is, but she look like she killed a couple white people.
More
So we
than a
give
couple
honor
with
to
that
her.
look.
Huh?
With more than a couple with that look.
Yeah, with that look, that miserable look. You can picture a single too. And then this is Martin Luther King. Because the history what a lot of Israelites felt about Martin Luther King is a start and a beginning. Just like all of us have a start, whether we was in gang banging, was in Christianity, was in Muslim, Rastafarianism, Egyptologists, we all have a start, but it's our finish that is important. We know Martin Luther King was a devoted Christian, but we have to understand he went to Israel in 1959. When the Jordan king invited him there, that King Abdul II invited him to Jordan in 1959. When he went there, King Abdul gave him the land of Arad. Said, bring your people here, man. You understand me? And 1960, Israel overthrew and he kicked Jordan out of that land. Even the projects out in Arad now, it was built for black people, man. The white people living there. So when Martin Luther King come and give the speech, he's seen the promised land. He have seen the promised land. When he come and saying climb up on the mountain, he did climb up on the mountain.
Like we.
Just like we did.
Right.
Most of us here did. When he said, I might not get there when you get there, but you know we're gonna get there. As we said, different dispensation, different time. They kindle a fire, we will bring it to the building. We will bring it to the building. Right? So in honor to all these men that was before us, man. Right? And we know about Frederick Douglass. You understand me? I know there's speculation out there about his nationality too, but we cannot deny he stand up for the fight and the right of so-called black people, man. You understand me? So this is Frederick Douglass, which they say father is white. That's what they said.
That's what they said.
You understand me? So not much on Mr. Douglass until we get more information. This is Emmanuel, right? But this is not his true name. They just add a name to the photo. This was a black man in Jamestown, Virginia. You understand me? And if you study the picture, what many brothers have on the flyers, he get beat like this, right? To defend his wife. Because a white boy want to rape his wife, and by pushing off the white boy of his wife, they beat him 3 days straight.
Damn.
So that's why we said there will be no mercy and forgiveness to the so-called white man.
That's right.
The white man will go into slavery.
Change.
Because we came and we see these walls. And we see all the men that stand up for black people, the white man murder. We will not forgive him for slavery. He'll be in chains and shackles. The Queen of England is 100-year-old. Guess what? He's going to pick cotton for 100 years. Nobody will escape the wrath and the judgment of God. Right? Do you know anything about him? He was one of them who betrayed Marcus Garvey too. So he shouldn't be there. Right? And this is the man himself. This is who started everything. This is where all the fires start burning. Every liberal and revolutionary group came out of Marcus Garvey. You understand me? Born in St. Anne or Ochi, Jamaica, Marcus Garvey was short like many fancy people. He was only 5 feet flat. Right? So it was kete kete. But what come out his mouth was strong, was power. You understand me? Marcus Garvey make a speech in Atlanta 1990 and say if we want to rule this earth, we have to act like our enemy act. He made this speech in Atlanta in 1919. He said if you want to rule this earth, you have to act like the white man. He said if the white man can go into a country and invade it, black people must have the same mentality. I'm yet to hear black people invade a country yet. But that was motivation for me, man. You understand me? So Marcus Garvey, his legacy going to live on, man. And he put a fire in Christianity too. Marcus Garvey said we must look to the east. That's where our salvation will be. And we know that east was Ethiopia. And Marcus Garvey himself, 1927 in England, he called Haile Selassie a coward. Because when Haile Selassie, Ethiopia was fighting against Italy, Marcus Garvey advised Selassie to buy weapons from Gaddafi. And Selassie never buy weapons from Gaddafi. You know who Selassie buy weapons from? The British. And he paid the British billions for weapons. And there's no weapons. You know what the Queen tell her? The same devil in the Buckingham Palace? Ship steal, the ship a gun and sea. So when Mussolini roll up in Ethiopia with guns and bombs, Ethiopian running out barefooted with the harrows. You understand me? So Marcus Garvey warned them and he warned us too, man. And over his thing, we have what? Passion fruit. This fruit is passion fruit. You never see it, eh? We have eyes to see all things, brother. This is passion fruit. So, this is Marcus Garvey, right? And then this, I don't know who this is, but I'm going to research on it. But he look like somebody deadly. He look like he have some white man blood on his sword. You understand me? So, I'm going to look into this, see who this is. But you see, our history is broad and far, man. Because we see historian on the wall that we never know nothing about. And some of them might be in other countries, man. You understand me? So what we'll do now, we're going to go by the river where the slave took the last bath and see what we see. Right?
Mine will be different. So you just bring yours so that I add mine to yours. And so that we get a holistic.
But if they're fighting and we done, they find out we don't fight.
It's not about fighting. You could fight. Because if it's fighting, some people can fight with their hands and others can fight with their brains. So the hands and the brains come together and you win. That is it.
Well, you're talking.
Yes. But I will not fight. I will not have the strength to fight, but I will have the intelligence to control the fight.
Yeah, nobody cannot be controlled. Could Ukraine control Russia? Could the United Nations control Russia? They try. All right, explain this. Who's these two men? They have a name or it's just a picture?
It's just a portrait.
Okay.
It's just liberation. The chains was, as you see the chains in here. But I wish the chains was in there. But the chains was on the hand. So it's more physical. And if I wish the chains was in our brains.
And the chains still in our hand?
Yes, I don't know what it is, but for me, I know for the chains in our hands it's not. But in our brains it is.
Alright, just give it to her. So this welcome to the ancestral river park. So what used to happen here? Could you advise us?
Advice?
Yeah, like tell us what was happening here.
Okay, so basically it goes like this. Whenever you visit and you want to visit as a tourist, we will treat you as a tourist. When you want to visit as a local, you come down and you ask us whatever is done here.
Okay.
This particular place, as I said, is a very sacred ground because everywhere we are standing are graveyards. The graveyard of our ancestors who lost their lives during the trade. They were killed and buried here. And we in the same community were in the same chains and shackles. But we managed to escape. So we preserve this place to be a sacred ground. So in here, we don't just store in here. We do so many rituals in here.
What type of rituals?
Yes. Well, for the rituals, we have the cleansing rituals, we have the healing rituals, and we have the rituals to see the unknown. So it all depends on what you are here for. Because once the land is yours and the river is the rivers of your ancestors. Most of them were killed in that river. They have their blood, they have their spirit, and they have their soul in their river. Certain things you might not understand. Certain things, more questions you'll be throwing out because maybe you don't have the understanding of it. But we believe that when you go through the rituals in that river, you have a solemn time with that river and connect with your ancestors. We believe that after all those connections, some questions that you've been asking and you've never had answers to, we believe you get those answers.
You believe.
So in here, even on this path that we walk, whenever they come over and we are walking through this path, they always, when they are for the ritual, they always go through this path with their shoes off. Because this is the same path that they use to the river in order to take their last bath. So we treat this path as a sacred ground, and we walk on it barefooted, not because we are saying to our ancestors that they did walk barefooted, but we believe in spirituality. Because while we are walking, they left so many things on the land for us. Some left their strength, some left their power, some left many things on the land for you to come and tap into it. So whilst walking barefooted on the land, it's about your connection. You connect and you ask for whatever you needed from them. And we also use that opportunity to mention the names of our ancestors and say thank you. Because we believe that we have lost our spirituality because we've taken our ancestors far away from us. Because we don't believe who our ancestors are, we don't even think about them. But we use this opportunity to bring our ancestors closer. So like maybe in your family you have somebody who has been so good to you. That person is no more. With the hustles and the economic issues, you've never even had the chance to even say thank you. So whilst we go into this path, we try to bring all those people together and say to them, maybe we should have said it long ago, but we never said that. But today, we are here to walk on the same land in order to say thank you for the roles that you play in our lives. So that is what we do, walking all the way to this river, walking all the way through this line to the river. So when we get to the river, then we start.
I want to ask a question.
Well, you could ask all the question.
All right. So what I want to ask is, so it's a secret ground here where we walk to tell our ancestors thank you.
Yes.
And you mentioned spirituality. Are you a Christian?
I'm not a Christian.
Do you believe in the Bible?
I don't practice religion.
Okay. So you don't believe in the Bible.
I
So it's a rituality.
practice spirituality. I don't, because
Okay.
religion is just a doctrine from man.
You're correct.
Yeah.
You're correct. Okay. So now I see something set up here. We're to thank our ancestors. So I'm just saying it's like we're seeking the dead among the living. In terms of we travel far and wide. And as I was saying to you earlier, there's not one African leader stand up for the cause or the fight of black people. But now I see a spot here where it's secret to honor the dead.
But your ancestors fought for your living.
Fight for my living?
Yes. Because look,
You're
sometimes,
right. I never
sometimes
say you
most
don't
of us believe that we survived all this because we were brave and strong. That is the mindset that we all have now. Oh, once we were brave and strong. No, it wasn't like that. You see, look, that is why it is very difficult for you to be defeated. Because for them, they fight you physically, but you are not a physical being. You are more spiritual. That is why when the Emperor Constantine was bringing people to Africa, he told them, make sure you don't tell them about God, because Africans know who God is. Our way of life then was spirituality. So those of our ancestors who lost their lives during the trade, they supported those that survived in order for them to tell their story. If it wasn't for their connection, their sacrifices to the living, most of we would never even have made it how terrible the trade was. So for us in here, with me, with what I've seen and with what I know, every time that I come here, I know our ancestors have always been there for us. Religion called them guardian angels, but for me, I always call them my ancestors.
All right, my brother. Let's go.
Let me just. I'm just having some running stomach, so I want to call one guy.
Right. This is where we go now, in terms of how destroyed we are as a nation of people, and we very much destroy, man, because spirituality have not helped no black people, man. Because I'm gonna believe that doctrine, and he left because he don't want to do this. If we believe that our ancestors are helping us now, why they can't get the white man out of Africa? You understand me? And it's just bad because he's a ritualist. You understand me? And they believe in ritual and all that stuff. And the main thing is he told us that Hebrew Israelites come here and do ritual too, man. The Bible said not all Israel is of Israel, so let me not use Hebrew Israelite. He said some black people come here and do ritual that proclaim to be Israelites. Because I know Israelites come here and give wine to the ground and all that stuff. I know them personally, man. I see them. You understand me? And one thing nobody can ever say about Matatu will never get caught up in witchcraft and wickedness, man. Because we think Yahweh, where Yahweh is the power and them alone.
That's right.
We don't believe in no ancestors, we believe in our history of great ancestors.
Right.
So let me rephrase that. But the spiritual part of it is just blindness to black people. We have it help us. You have not helped us. Can?
Can.
All right, pause and let's go. So this is where the slave took their final bath. The person who was giving us a tour, he run off.
Nana Asbury Brofo. Nana Hipa.
This is how they used to do our ancestors. And see, they mark them. See the mark they give to them? You see? We're going to be sold unto our enemies. See who was buying us? See that? But look how spiritual this is at. Come. Look how spiritual this is. That's like you need to see this. Look how spiritual this is. This was the first auction black, huh? But look what they used to buy the black woman.
Wine.
In the book of Joel 2 said it, they sell a woman for wine. Is the first I see this as plain as this. Look at
Selling
this.
a woman for wine.
They sell a black woman for wine. So all you black nigger woman lover that love the cracker, this is what you do, man. You started out as a, they sell the black woman for wine. The first auction. So the white man used to come here and give to the Africans wine to get black woman. See, the man, auction black, the man sell for free. The black woman, the wine was trading. Look at this. I never see this plane before. See, that's why we have to walk the walk that our ancestors make. You understand me? So now we're going to approach a river where ancestors used to bath before they go on the slave ship. Because they have to make them bath to smell good and look clean for somebody else to buy them. And that's why I said there will be no forgiveness for the so-called white man. None.
None.
So all you crackers love out there, you're going to die with him.
Brother, so they got to drink out the cup.
Right?
That's the
So
fire.
this is the first one. This is where ancestors used to bath before they come and slave ship. Running water always good. Running water give life. Yeah. So this is where ancestors used to bath before they came on the slave ship. Water feels good, right? Yeah. It's cool. black leader that asked for reparation for slavery and the so-called black man?
It was in 80. I forget his name.
Who?
One man, the one that stood for the revolt in North
No, that's why I would say Africa.
Africa.
Because we fight so much in America, my brother, the Black Panther, we fight so much. If one country in Africa just get up and back us, we'll overcome.
That's right.
If one leader in Africa just gets back us, we'll overcome.
Okay, so if one leader, you see, that's why I always say gradually it's getting to a place, gradually. Previously,
and I don't want to feel we're attacking you. We're just
no,
reasoning. So feel free to say anything, right?
Ah, come on. For me, I'm just saying my brothers in this conversation. I always love to learn. So.
We are the Hebrew Israelites. We are the revolution.
I just want to learn. So
right?
don't worry. I'm not in. So I'm just saying. You see, previously, when you cast your mind back to 10 years ago, our brothers and sisters were just coming, but they're just coming for nothing. They were just coming in order to just come as a tourist and just go back. But gradually, from 7 to 8 years now, things have changed. You realize that those that are coming are so much conscious that they are coming for a change. And that is where I said it starts from somewhere, and some people also have to support. We will not be here, maybe, to witness the change. But our little effort needs to be added to it. So that when we are no more and tomorrow the change is achieved, we could be in our graves and say we also contributed. So if we are, so because the whilst we are fighting, they are also fighting us. And they are fighting us because our politicians are not Africans.
That's kind of come about that, right?
Yes, our politicians are not Africans. So we are fighting both our politicians and them. So gradually, as we are going, people being conscious, people now knowing this is what we have to do. Previously, there was no strike in that in Africa. But now, whenever there's something happening, you see us coming up to understand something. So things have changed now with the influx of our brothers and sisters coming over. Because now they are even coming here to own properties. And for the past 7 years, with data from GTDC, GT Galatory Authority, they are so much in their numbers coming to claim what belongs to them. Do you know that sometimes even in education, in the trade, whatever happened, when you go down there and you have the kids, they don't even know about it. It was deliberately taken out of our curriculum just for them to not know the wickedness of other people. But now, I am in the business, other people are in the business, and day in and day out, I am preaching to the youth in this community and everyone that comes in here that we have to start from somewhere. We shouldn't say that some people have started and have never ended. So it has already ended. So if it has already ended, then we have a business on this land. Because we are prophets. That's who we are. So we have to keep fighting, keep pushing. Even for me, I know I will not even see the change. I know. But I know that when the change is up, people would mention and say, Kofi Ameli also played this role in this struggle. So we should not be looking at whether it is like that or it is like that, but we should start our advocacy from now. Small brother, you are the little, my brother has little, my brother has little, you are little. Maybe 1,000, but we have only 5. So 5 out of 1,000, we have only 950 people, 55 people to also continue.
So is anything like this happening in any West African countries?
West African,
I don't know. So
yes, West African country will not be privy to much of the happenings in African country because most of them are having their own challenges in terms of coup and other things. But they also tell you that the coup and other thing that they are doing is because they also feel cheated in a way, so they are also rising up. But the question is, are we rising up? Are we rising up in terms of using our strength to fight, or we are rising up using our minds to fight?
My answer to that is, last year Ghana export more gold than any other African country. More gold than any other African country, even South Africa. Right? And I think Ghana been doing that for the past 3 years in a 7-year span. Ghana sell more cocoa than any other country on the planet Earth.
Agriculture was the leading influence.
Exactly. So Ghana took the cocoa industry over now. And we can't mention Cote d'Ivoire. Even Ghana can be better than Cote d'Ivoire. So if we're talking about Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, what we see. So now, as I mentioned to you earlier, white people in America, when they see Trump about to lose, they were revolutionary. And even the uproar in countries like Greece, it started in Tunisia, no, Egypt, where the young college student moved Mubarak, right? If you remember, I pulled it mind here. Then you have in Tunisia, then you go in Greece. So it was a great revolutionary with the young children in terms of they think about their future. So now we come back here now, we come and we look, we observe, and we look and we say the children are the future of this country. And as I say, it's not your fault to be gay. You understand? It has to be the Christian church and the politician leaders. You understand? Those are detrimental to black people and black children. So now, as I said, I think we might have a flyers in the car I leave with you before I go. And we say our foreparents are paying near to bad and took the slave ship. We're not Christians. They were not for these politicians. But these politicians were the one who sold it. So now, as I said, when you make mention that we should do whatever we do now, that if we don't see our children will see, you're correct. And I agree with you. You understand? Because this world need a change.
Yeah, definitely.
You understand? And they need a change of power. And as I said, we went and built the West.
Yes, it is evident.
We went and we built the West. We built it.
We are still doing everything.
You understand?
We are doing everything to do everything.
And now we're coming back. What's set up for us to get that scene? Free. And you don't know, but I'm just letting you know. And when I ask you about West Africa, you say you don't know what's going on here in terms of different countries, different problems. I know a lot of us is in Tanzania because of that. A lot of us is in Tanzania. And records show there in terms of economy is better there. A lot of us is in Liberia. Where Liberia means land of the slave. Right? A lot of us is in Zambia. We enrolling in Zambia now where the government gave land and it's better to requirements to live here than even land. And a lot of us is doing it. So now, I see the Most High just setting us up in that avenue to serve our enemy. You understand? And if we won't try to make an attempt, you wouldn't want us to rule this place. Because we tell everybody to leave tomorrow, 24 hours. Like I don't get done with white people. I don't get done with Chinese. I don't get done with those dirty Arabs and Lebanese. I don't think we have, so that's why I always ask people, name one resources in Europe. Just one resources in Europe. Name it. Russia have oil, but the oil that Russia have is in the Asia part of the land. Asia have one resource is oil. You understand me? We know in Afghanistan have some oil in the field. But Asia have one resource, and you look at Ghana. Ghana have more than 10 natural resources. Yes. So I said, with 10 resources and a population of 38 million people, America with no resources and a population of 300 million people. You understand? And until the young people who go to college find out, and as what Bob Marley said, rebel. Did Bob Marley sing the song say it's time to rebel?
But your rebellion is what is the question that I'm asking you.
We put a leader there like what Campbell did.
Are we rebelling in terms of physicality?
We have to.
Or we rebelling in terms of the mental?
Both.
Both. I think I'll go with the mental aspect.
But let me tell you, hold on, brother. Let me tell you why the physical aspect has to go. Ghana is the only country I watch and see members in parliament fighting like a bunch of child.
South Africa?
But South Africa mainly inspired by white people of India. Understand? But the problem is, what was manufactured for?
So, Ghana was basically fighting for the leadership history.
Exactly. But now, a politician, when he's campaigning, when Nana was campaigning at Mahama, they come to tell you, I'm the better person to serve you.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
Yes.
In Nana's 6 years in power, have you served black people?
No.
Okay.
And that is why
So that's why
it goes back to my answer to your question.
You're gonna be mental.
That look, if it's not mental, look, Nana came 4 years. Look, he came 4 years, case was bad. People voted for him again.
You think so?
Yeah. Whether it is or it's not, he's still the president. So people voted for him. So if the people are mentally stable, they will know I will not vote for you again because you are not able to serve my purpose. That's why I said it's the mind thing that we have to start fighting about.
You're already. Yeah. My boss. Yeah. Just